Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another session with Coffee with Mark. We have taken a short break in this beginning of the year, but now we are back, and I'm very much excited to see you all and also discuss with you a series of different topics that I think would be very much interesting for you. But of course, if you feel like discussing any topic with me, or you would like to learn anything in particular from sustainability to craftsmanship to mosaic to community design, art, I mean, the topics are really endless, then please just let us know and in the comments, and also feel free also to drop us a message, and we'll be very happy to schedule them in for the next Coffee with Mark. And thank you everyone who's joining in as well. It's a pleasure to see some familiar faces. Today's topic is mosaic and the origins of mosaic. Of course, as you all know, mosaic is a big part of what we do here at the House of Mark Giusti. Of course, we are in VMLPD 7 at Casa Giusti, which is our flagship space and creative hub. And here we create also, it's also an atelier, as you all know, and we create also our pieces. We design here. We have our last installation, which I kind of like trying to replicate our design studio that I have, where I create all of the designs and try to replicate all of the experimentation from mosaic as well, drawing all of the mosaic pieces up until the final creations of the items. So today we're going to talk about, again, mosaics and its origins, why mosaics, and why mosaics also are very important for me, and how do they relate also to our Mark Giusti designs, where do they start, and how does it also, let's say, tap on all of the different values that we create here. So we'll start with an introduction. I hope you all have your coffee or tea or water, juice, anything you enjoy. And as you said, the idea of Coffee with Mark is also to have a little bit of a moment in the morning, on Saturday morning, to discuss about all of these beautiful topics before we start our day on the weekend. So, right, let's start. So, as the mosaics basically started, it's one of the oldest artwork that existed in history. It started almost 3,000 years before Christ, so very long time ago. It's basically it's been created from all of these different fragments of stones, and at that time it was originated in Mesopotamia, which is what's really, it's the region where Iraq now exists. And there they use them as part of their storytelling, as part of depicting basically their way of life, what do they do, their daily kind of rituals, if you want to call it, and their day-to-day life. Following that, it's been adopted by the Greeks, and again, they start to, let's say, flourish a little bit more, use them more into decorations, and editing them more into their houses and villas. After that, it's been taken into the Roman, and the Roman, of course, they've been one of the really early adopters also of mosaics that flourished during this during their empire, and they used them in their villas, in their monuments, in their palaces, and in all different ways, from storytelling to decorations to ornaments, and to even their day-to-day sort of items. After that, it moved into a little bit more into the area of Byzantine, okay, and then from there it also flourished. They start to use them more into figurative, and start to turn here a little bit more into a spiritual, let's say, perspective, mosaics, and then it went into Islamic. Of course, during the Islamic period, they used a lot the the geometry, and from the geometry they started to create all of these different types of mosaics to create different types of designs, elaborate designs that are very mathematical, very geometrical, again related to the stars and related to when does the moon is born and when does it end, and all of these sort of elements that have emphasized as well and flourished the mosaic artwork. And then it moved into cosmati. Of course, cosmati period, it's also a big inspiration for Mark Giusti. Cosmati basically is all of these geometric patterns that, like these ones, that have usually it's embodied by triangles and by squares. And I'm very much famous into designing them. I've always been a huge fan of designing these cosmati mosaics, because I find them it's almost like they are slightly repetitive into sort of different shapes. You have like triangles, and then you've got diamonds inside of them, and then you've got another square inside of them, and they create really a beautiful kind of a through somehow repetition, but also layering. It creates. I find them very attractive sort of a pattern that draws you into them. For people who know me, I'm a huge fan of mosaics, and the reason being, my dad is a collector of antiques, and he's a collector of mosaics as well. And I remember as a kid, I used to follow him around into all sort of different markets and different antiques and different monuments and palaces. And I was totally fascinated by these beautiful mosaics that you find them on the floors and on the decorations and on the walls. And I was like, wow, this is really like, it's such an intricate artwork that I thought it was a little bit forgotten, because when people go to the monuments, they just look up and think, wow, it's so amazing. But very, very rarely do people look down on the floors and they see how beautiful is it, and how intricate also this type of artwork, for it's taken artisans so much time in order to create them. So when I created Mark Giusti, I wanted to bring back this beautiful timeless artwork and reinterpret it for modern designs that people can fall in love with it through a different way, but also in a modern way that fits also our lifestyle. So how do you create mosaics? This is the next, let's say, topic. So mosaics, they are all of these different fragments. Could be stone, could be glasses. I mean, I have here some beautiful mosaic from Francesco Panuto. Francesco Panuto is he's one of our artisans who create all of the mosaic pieces for us, and which you can see here that was just in flagship space. But also Francesco is a dear friend, and he's an artist also himself, because he's one of the few people that still do all of these mosaics totally by hand. I mean, this is one of them. I'm just going to bring it a bit closer to the camera. As you can see here, it's made of all of these beautiful stones. Okay, this is really stone, and you could do them in different material, but this one really it's a stone material. And the idea of it is that you break all of these little stone pieces, like they are 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, and you put them next to each other, one by one, in order to create this geometric pattern. Of course, you will need to, I mean, if you are doing it by hand, then you will need to cut each square by a special technique and a special kind of, let's say, a hammer with a sword sort of an edge. And it has to be straight. I need to do it 4 times for every single square. So you can imagine how intricate is this technique in order to create one. I mean, I find it absolutely fascinating myself that there's someone who cuts all of these small pieces one by one. So if let's look at this one over here. So let's say it has 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters square. So it has 1, 2, 3, 1. Here it has 4. So let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it has 13 different elements, 13 different techniques, every single square. So you can imagine how much time this one took Francesco in order to create this beautiful artwork for me. Actually, this is one of the first creation that he kindly gifted me, and I was totally obsessed with his technique. So if you have some time, definitely go and have a look at his work, and he also does lots of commission. So this is a beautiful piece of artwork that we started to create. So as you can see, technique of the mosaic is very intricate, and this has been going on for 3,000 years before Christ. So it's really one of the oldest, let's say, technique. This is a cosmati as well, style technique, which is very much, I'm very much passionate about. And it's, let's say, it's a classical sort of a design as well that you could see in decorations as well as in houses. So why mosaics? I mean, I find it because since it is one of the oldest technique, it's also timeless, and in a way, it is also sustainable. I mean, you could let's say in an older times, it started by collecting all of different types of fragments in order to put them together to create this sort of a pattern. And most of the time, let's say the fragments of the stones, they're not the same color. So they are similar color, but they're not really the same color. So it would be maybe different types of white shades and maybe different types of black shades over here, but they would be very close. So in a way, it is very sustainable. And the idea is that you could use all of these different types of fragments that has been left over from broken glass, broken stone, broken marble, and then you bring them together in order to recreate something else with it. So in a way, it is what we call now, let's say, zero waste management or zero waste design from a sustainability perspective. And it's funny, they make it sound as if it's a totally new concept, but this concept has been going on, zero waste management has been going on for centuries. So this is one. So how do I really bring these mosaics into life through our art? I mean, the idea, really, I start researching. I travel around. I'm a big travel fan. I like to learn about new culture. I like to see, let's say, expand my horizon from an art perspective, from a culture perspective. And for me, I find it very fascinating as well, getting to know different cultures in different countries and different mosaics from different eras and different areas. So I go very much in depth into my research, as many of you know, so as I've shared also here. And one of the mosaics that I would like to share with you is, of course, the London Calling mosaic. The London Calling mosaic is this mosaic. So this one, it is, again, it's a cosmati technique mosaic that's been found in the Westminster Abbey in London. And if you go to Westminster Abbey, actually, you'll be able to see it on the high altar on the floor. And Westminster Abbey is it's a cosmati technique mosaic flooring, and actually it's one of the most well preserved in the world. It's recently done a total renovation to preserve all of these beautiful mosaics, which is something what I try to do also here with the world of Mark Giusti. The idea is to preserve this culture, preserve this beautiful artwork so that can continue through our modern generation and our modern centuries in a different way, and people can really fall in love with it. It is where all of the kings and queens get coronated, and you could see it actually in the pictures where Kate and William got married. You could see it on the mosaic floors, and it's absolutely beautiful. What I tried to do, I mean, I created this mosaic flooring at the time when Princess Kate and William got married, And I wanted to really bring back that history. Also, London is a big part of me. As you know, I'm British Lebanese, and I grew up there. And there's a big design influence as well that comes from London. So I wanted to bring back these beautiful mosaics from Westminster Abbey, and I selected this one particular because it has so much history. It is where more than 30 kings and queens got coronated there in the high altar, and it's if someone thinks about it, it brings so much history and so much culture as well into our everyday life. And I wanted to bring back somehow blue bags and accessories. So I went there, I've researched it, I've researched the technique, I've researched the flooring, and this one in particular got my attention because of the connection between the past, the present, and somehow the future through our bags. I redrawn it and reintroduced our own patterns. So of course, these are our own, let's say, intake on that particular pattern, because I would like to usually to take my also perspective onto it from a certain way, so it can be also Mark Giusti. We developed the colors. We've tested it on leather. So this is Napa leather. And of course, it's so beautiful. It's so soft. And again, it can live with you. And the bag can become, in a way, also timeless, just as timeless as the mosaic flooring that is in Westminster Abbey that has stood centuries of time up until now. And then, of course, the idea from the mosaic drawing to leather bags and accessories, and again into mosaic creation. So what we do at the moment is we offer these patterns as well to interior designers to select their favorites, and then they could replicate them onto flooring, and they can use them as wall decorations, as even as frames, let's say, as the ones I've showed you, this one. So you could actually just do, if you don't want to do flooring, you don't have to do a mosaic as flooring. You could do it as a frame, and you could just hang it here on the wall. It can be like a nice feature wall. So of course, it'll be a very nice added value into your home decorations and your art collection as well. So this is the London collection. I would like also to share with you another favorite, which is one from an old Roman villa that I found in Somerset. So this is the mosaic that Francesco, again, has created for us. It's a beautiful glass inlay, stone mosaic that, as you can see, it's made in several different colors, four mainly. So you have the navy, you have the green, you have the blue, and then you have the white. As you can see, again, there's 1 centimeter square, sometimes ½ centimeter squares that are cut very finely and then placed next to each other in order to create this beautiful pattern. It's similar to the pattern that I've showed you, but we've done it in a different color, in a different, let's say, material, because the other one was stone and this is made like glass. So you can see it has a little bit of that shine onto it. Again, just like wanted to show you how different mosaics can look differently, even though they are very sort of similar in terms of a pattern. This is stone, of course, the first one, and this is in glass, so it has a little bit more of a sheen, let's say, perspective to it. So from this one, what we have done here is we have first developed it on our leather and accessories, and then we've asked Francesco to recreate them onto the real mosaic. Again, different color to give slightly a bit of difference between the leather, let's say, mosaic, as well as the mosaic creations that you could use for houses, for pools, for interiors, and so on. So for me, the story is complete. And actually, when I researched and designed this Somerset, which was from a Roman villa in Pitney, this mosaic was not even complete because it was like a very old villa and it was a ruins. So you could see a little bit of the pattern, but it was not really complete. And what we've done over here is that I completely reinvented the mosaic, re-brought it to life through mosaic inspiration to create bags and accessories, and then to mosaic creation, so real mosaic, and so you can use them, and then this mosaic artwork can also relive. It can has a new life through modern days. What I also always like to explain to my clients and people I meet is the history of the mosaic. So the history of the mosaic, where does it come from? What type of mosaic is it? When was it found? When was it built? This is also a very important element for me, not just because of storytelling, but more because of passing on the history of this beautiful artwork so that people can know about it and people can connect somehow, and we can preserve the culture, we can preserve the artwork, we can preserve the story of the artisans. Even though they've done them centuries ago, I think is extremely important so that their story can continue in a modern way, in modern times, so that their work or their hard work is not really lost forever. So it connects with Mark Giusti, the mosaics, in so many different ways. If we're looking at my holistic design, about how I connect art, culture, craftsmanship, sustainability, community, not just in Mark Giusti, but let's say in my design concept as a whole. I try to connect all of these different elements that they complete somehow the design, from the hand craftsmanship to the mosaic artwork, to the sustainability, to all of the community work that we do, to the culture preservation. I think this really creates sort of a complete circle. And what we do with mosaic is from mosaic inspiration to mosaic creation. So for us, we start from the inspiration for the mosaic, where we interpret it, I research it, I develop it, I create leather accessories onto it. And then from here, I recreate back the mosaic. So for me, that's holistic circle, let's say, also complete. Mosaic in itself, it's sustainable. And because mosaic comes from all of these different waste elements or fragments, let's say, of broken items that they have been collected, and they've been collected and they've been recreated through artwork. I find this fascinating because nothing is lost from when creating the mosaic. You just collect all of the leftover pieces and you create a beautiful artwork. Well, what we call now upcycling in fashion. This is also reusing waste to create product. So sustainability perspective, very important, but also, again, preserving the culture. I think it's an extremely important element for me because the idea of it is that you rebring this forgotten artwork that's been created centuries ago and reinterpret it, talk about it, and make people fall in love with it so that the story, the culture is preserved, the mosaic culture is preserved, the culture of that particular monument, of that particular city is preserved. And then reconnected with all the different elements that we do here at Mark Giusti. You've seen here a lot of geometric patterns, but we create so many different patterns that come from so many different places. This is Ravenna. This is actually our latest cruise leather tie, and it's printed on leather. So it's a tie printed on leather with our mosaic from Ravenna. So this is another one. Basilica di San Marco, it's a big inspiration for me, again, because it has one of the most beautiful preserved mosaics in the world. I have used as well a lot of Islamic also designs in the past from Morocco, from Fez, from Granada, from Alhambra Palace in Granada, which you probably seen last summer in our Summer Licious collection. That was quite vibrant here in the World of Mark Giusti flagship and creative hub. So this is it for me. I mean, I hope you really enjoyed today's Coffee with Mark lesson, and then give you a little bit more insight on the history of Mosaic, the origin of mosaics that goes back to the very early times of a human civilization or a human, let's say, presence. As I said, it goes back to Mesopotamia, which is 3,000 years before Christ, and it still continues up until current days. And it's a big dedication what I try to do over here. This is something that is very close for my heart, is preserving this beautiful artwork, continuing the legacy through modern design and modern products. So my pieces, again, are not just bags and accessories. For me, it is very important that they have an element of that beautiful mosaic. It's almost like carrying a piece of treasure with you, whether it is from an old Roman villa in Somerset, or it is from Westminster Abbey, or from a school from Fez. You are carrying a piece of artwork that has been carefully researched, carefully curated, and developed exclusively for the brand to tell a story, to preserve history, culture, to be sustainable, and to give you a very unique piece that nobody has, just like a piece of artwork. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed today. I will see you next Saturday. If you are interested in a particular topic, please feel free to drop me a direct message or send us a message on the World of Mark Giusti, and we will be very happy to consider it and look into it for the next Coffee with Mark sessions. You will also be able to see a list of all of the topics that I will be doing every Saturday up until the end of April, just on the Instagram button. And you just click on the live shows under my profile, and you'll be able to see all of the list of the Coffee with Mark sessions and the topics that I'll be discussing for the next week. So you can select the ones that are interested for you. And of course, we are planning to bring artists, designers, and artisans to join us on these conversations going forward, to talk about their artwork and to again talk about all of the different topics that I'm trying to bring forward. There will be also some educational also topics on sustainability, on craftsmanship, on design. So also watch out for them. So if you're a student, if you're building your brand, this is definitely one for you. I will be doing some educative also session to support independent designers, artists, and designers who want to also grow in their own work. As you know, I'm a big scholar myself. I like to mentor, I like to educate, and I teach in many schools, and I mentor in many universities. So the whole idea is to support designers and artists, and which I also do here at the Mark Giusti Creative Hub. Have a great weekend, have a great Saturday, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.